So in Foundry, you have your typical ore nodes, and then what you can do is eventually get ore veins, and they are going to let you get infinite resources. If we come over here as an example, this is our initial ignium like ore. This is how we sent this ignium. We got it on the conveyor belt, we got it going up, and we did have it into burner generators. That's how we produced our power. But then what we did is we went through the really long-winded process of getting pretty much to science tier 4, and then we found out how long it was going to take, so me and Pete started using the debug menu. If you want to use it, Shift, Alt, and O. Once you've got it up the first time, you can just press O to bring the menu up again, and this is going to let you spawn things into the game. You just click on anything, it goes into your inventory. So for an example, if I wanted 200 steel beams, left click. If I bring up my inventory, I can show you. Just keep clicking, and the debug menu is going to spawn all of that in your inventory. But we eventually started using that because this game gets very long-winded, and making your resources infinite is the exact same thing. It's going to take you hours and hours and hours. Because if we go to the research tab, what you need to get your hands on, if I can find it, I think it should be down here, you need the fracking tower. And this requires, if I remember correctly, Science Pack 5. Yeah, it does. You can see it there. So you need to get to Science Pack 5, and to get to Science Pack 4, you need all of this stuff. The things I mentioned in the previous video, you need the thermalite bars just to get to Science Tier 4. But when you have made it to like pretty much the end of the research, you've got this fracking tower, you are able to make your resources infinite. But it's a very long-winded process because you're going to need things like this massive air intake. So the very first thing you want to do is make sure you've got everything unlocked. Like you've got the fracking tower, you've got the air intake, and another thing you are going to need, if I can actually find, it's probably better to show you through the debug because I can actually search that way. You are going to need an ore vein miner, which are those things there. I've actually got some on me already. But in the research tab, you are also going to need the ore scanner upgrade that does XF, TE, IG, and MR veins, because that is going to let you find the veins, not the ore. You're going to be finding the veins for technum, xenoferrite, ignium, and mineral rocks. Because if we go to the map, if we go up to the one that I've got set up, instead of seeing a rectangle or a square for an ore node, you're going to see a hexagon, and that's going to show you that's a vein. And these veins can be farmed infinitely. So if we go down to this one that Pete started working on, you are going to see here is a hexagon. Those are the things you need in order to place a fracking tower on, to have an ore vein miner, and you are going to get the resource in an infinite quantity. But in order to do that, and you can't use the debug menu for this, you need fracking liquid. So this is where this chemical processor comes into play. If we come over here, you'll see that this is producing the fracking liquid, but you need air, you need alumite gas, and you need water. So water and alumite gas you will probably already know how to get, but then the air intake is another thing you need to research. And if we can get out of this monstrosity of piping, yeah, this is the air intake. I've stuck the max amount of vents on it. And then what you need to do once you have this crafted, because it has this massive hole on it, so it's not like your typical thin pipe, this starts using something called pipeline. So you use the pipeline, and then you need to place an adapter. So if I show you those quickly, if I can find them, I've got some on me. So pipeline's here, and then you need the adapters which are here. So it's the pipe adapter, and basically you put pipeline on the end of here, you put the adapter on, which makes it thin enough to go into normal pipe, and then you can start pushing your air from your air intake, which is just connected to your high voltage power grid. You are going to see that you've got 162,000 litres per minute, and if we go along to here, we are then going to be using the air, the alumite gas, and the water to make fracking liquid. But then you need to get that fracking liquid over through a pipe into your fracking tower. I don't know if there is a more efficient way of doing this, but I'll show you the pipe setup that we've got. Massive thank you to the debug menu. But you'll see the output pipe, and you'll see the green liquid in there. And then we've got loads of pumps set up on this massive, like one layer building block thing. The pipe's coming all the way along. There's probably a much easier way to do this, but this is just like, we spent hours on this just to put this stuff together so I could show you guys in a video. And we're going to follow the pipe all the way along. And when we get to the end, you're going to see the massive fracking tower. And this is not the only thing you need, by the way. You need that ore vein miner. That's the most important part. But you come down here, the pipe carries on. It goes all the way into the back of this fracking tower. And then if we go round to the front, you are going to see that we have 1,000 litres stored in here. So what this is going to do is basically, I'm going to say it's going to keep the vein hydrated. And you'll see this, like this brown coloured stuff. This is essentially is the vein. But you can't do anything with this. What you need to do is find a very, very specific thing. So if we get our scanner out, you're going to see it will eventually start finding parts of the ore vein. And there's quite, like, you can see how big this area is. It's absolutely massive. So what we're going to have to do is you're going to have to dig down. You'll see where my power line goes, because you need to bring power to the ore vein miner. So what I've had to do is put the power cables all the way down. And then if we go down to floor level, I can just drop down into here. And you are going to see the cable connect up to this machine. This is the ore vein miner. And once this is down, it has to be facing this stuff. This is going to be a different color based on the resource you're going for. So if you're going for like Technum ore, it's probably going to be blue. But this is what you need to find. You cannot do it on these standard brown rocks. It has to be on the actual ore itself. So what the fracking tower does is it essentially just hydrates this and it stops this ore from ever depleting. And this actually produces the rubble, or whatever it is, really, really quick. So you'll see this is teleoxide or rubble. It produces 160 per minute. So this took like 3 or 4 minutes and it was full up. But then what you need to do is you need to find a way to extract it from this machine. So it comes out here on a conveyor belt. You need to extract it from here and you need to get the resource all the way back to your base, which is something we still haven't done. So it's incredibly long-winded. But that teleoxide from this ore vein miner, yeah, that's going to be an infinite supply of that resource. But you need the fracking tower, so it's very, very late game. You're pretty much going to be at the end of the game. The fracking tower is one of the final things you unlock. And that's exactly how it all works. So you have to make sure that you're on the hexagon veins, not the rectangle, just like ore deposits. And there aren't too many of them. We've got the long range scanner, which has found loads. You'll see like there's loads of things out here in the black where we haven't explored yet. But you'll see there's teleoxide there. And then we've got technum ore over here. We've got more technum ore here. And then here we've got xenoferrite. We've got ignium here. We've got more ignium ore. There's actually 2 veins over this side. But you'll see how far away they are. This is our base. And yeah, these veins are all the way over here. We pretty much hadn't done anything outside of this rectangle until we got the fracking tower sorted out. And you'll see this massive purple line that comes all the way up here. And it leads into our fracking tower. But that's what you need to do. So you need to like get all this built up. And then you need to find a way. You can use, I believe you can use the, there's a certain type of ship. I'll show you in a second. But if you're not using the ship, you need to get like a freight elevator, then you need to get a massive conveyor belt that goes all the way back to your base when it's on the surface. Because it's a long way to go for a lot of these veins. Your seed, because these maps are randomly generated, your seed might be a little bit better. I'm not entirely sure if they're all like really far away from like where you actually start. Because we've built our base where we started when we joined the seed. But yeah, it's a very, very, very long-winded process. And the transport things that I was telling you about, so that you don't have to use conveyor belt, is I'm probably being blind. I do it all the time. So here they are. I finally found them. You've got the cargo ship start pad and the cargo ship target pad. So you would have to get the cargo, being the ore that you've mined, you would have to get it to the start pad, and then you would need to have a target pad at your base for that ship to fly over and drop off your resources. So yeah, the fracking tower was not even as simple as I thought. It's been an incredibly convoluted, stressful time setting all this pipe up and everything. And yeah, you'll see that the xenoferrite vein is 2 kilometers away from where I am now. It's like 1.6 kilometers away from the base. This one's only like half a kilometer. So things get really, really far away. So those cargo ships are probably your best bet. But you need to get the ore vein miners. Like, there's so much to it. And you need to have hours and hours in the game. Before we even got to tier 4 science, like playing legit, we were 25 hours deep. This game is a long, long game to get all this stuff sorted out. But if you are looking for infinite resources, that is what you're going to have to do to get your hands on it. You're going to need all this stuff set up as well, because the fracking towers are a modular building. So you're going to need construction materials for your construction ship to go over with its drones and build the towers for you. So there is a lot of stuff to do, but that is exactly how you get your hands on infinite resources when it comes to playing the game Foundry. And what we are going to do is leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this whole process and the game in the comments. I will see you guys in the next one. one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you out. Thank you for watching.